There's always going to be a lot of collateral damage. There's lots of villains, and there's lots of villainous deeds going on at any given time. Part of my job is to prioritize which villains I'm going to combat.
Before the age of Mr. Incredible, Elastigirl, and Frozone, the world was filled with supers. Some became legends, their names etched into history. Others vanished, their stories lost in dusty files of the National Supers Agency. Among these forgotten champions stood Gamma Jack, a hero of immense atomic power. His story is one of brilliance, mystery, and tragedy. Today, we uncover the untold history of this lost super, origins and identity. Gamma Jack's real name has never been revealed. What we know of him comes only from fragments, NSA files, concept art, and whispers in the super community. He first appeared during the golden age of heroes, the 1950s and 1960s, a time when superheroes were celebrated by the public, yet shadowed by the growing fear of science and the atomic age. Gamma Jack embodied that era perfectly. His codename, his colors, even his powers reflected mankind's obsession with nuclear energy. He wasn't just a hero. He was a symbol of his time, powers and abilities. Gamma Jack's abilities were extraordinary, even among supers. He could harness the destructive force of gamma radiation, converting it into pure energy. He possessed superhuman strength powered by atomic energy. He could unleash energy waves and shock blasts capable of leveling obstacles. His body seemed resistant to radiation, making him nearly indestructible in battle. Visually, he was striking, a tall figure in a dark purple and green costume, glowing with the aura of atomic power. Among supers, he belonged to the so-called atomic class, beings whose powers drew directly from the age of science and nuclear discovery. Heroic career. Though not as famous as Mr. Incredible or Gazerbeam, Gamma Jack built a reputation as a powerful ally in the fight against crime. He joined missions with other supers, helping protect cities from villains and disasters. He represented a new kind of hero, not mythological like Thunderhead, not elemental like Blazestone, but scientific, the living embodiment of atomic might. For years, he fought with courage, yet the world around him began to change. The fall of the supers. The golden age came to an end. Accidents, lawsuits, and rising fear of uncontrolled power pushed society against its heroes. The government passed strict regulations, forcing supers into retirement through the Superhero Relocation Program. Like so many others, Gamma Jack disappeared. His glowing suit vanished from the headlines. His name was erased from memory. From this point on, nothing about him is certain. Theories of his fate. What happened to Gamma Jack? There are two major theories. The quiet life. He may have accepted relocation, living the rest of his life in obscurity, forbidden from ever using his powers again. A man of pure energy, trapped in an ordinary shell. The Nomenison theory. Others believe he was one of the many supers who fell victim to Syndrome's Omni-Droid tests. Syndrome lured retired heroes to Nomenison Island, pitting them against his evolving machines until they were destroyed. The files suggest that heroes like Gamma Jack were among these casualties. If so, his story ended in battle, fighting until his last breath against a mechanical monster designed to kill. Legacy, Gamma Jack remains one of the lost supers. His story is incomplete, his fate uncertain, yet his name still resonates among fans of The Incredibles. He symbolizes the heroes who never made it to the big screen, but whose presence enriches the world Pixar created. Without Gamma Jack and others like him, the golden age of supers would feel far less real. Conclusion: the lost Super Gamma. Jack was more than just another hero. He was a product of his era, an atomic warrior born in a nuclear age. His powers made him one of the most dangerous and awe-inspiring supers of his generation. But like so many, his story ended in mystery. Was he silenced by the government or destroyed by Syndrome's machines? We may never know the full truth, but what we do know is this: Gamma Jack's legacy endures. He is proof that even forgotten heroes leave an impact, and that sometimes the most powerful legends are the ones history almost erased.
There's always going to be a lot of collateral damage. There's lots of villains, and there's lots of villainous deeds going on at any given time. Part of my job is to prioritize which villains I'm going to combat. So I take a look around, I see if there's any good-looking women who need to be rescued immediately, and then I sort of start from there and work my way down the list. If you've got Tubby Joe Schmo over there with a laser pointed at his head, and he might have to wait in line a little while. Yeah, I've fought my fair share of villains, and they all have their own unique challenges. They got their zombie monkeys and their giant laser robots and their super aquatic ninja pygmies. But I tell you, once in a while, the real kicker is I get these dames, man, these dame villains, and they got the curves and the hair and the big eyes, and boy, those ones, they're really, really hard to kill. Especially the ones that they come up and, and they're looking at you and you're looking at them and you feel that simpatico, like she's digging you and you're digging her, digging you, and boy, you really got to take a jog around the block real quick and, sort of get your concentration back, compose yourself, because, you can't get distracted by these sort of thoughts when you're going up against a super villain.